Listen, guys, it's bad to do drugs and drink in high school. Don't do it. This is a disclaimer from KHAP. Don't do these things. We took it, 40 minutes to get into the pod, but you shouldn't do these things, especially if you're going to do these things. You shouldn't drive and do it.
Yeah. Well, that's clear. That's very clear. Yeah.
That's my stupid.
Let's add this disclaimer at the top of the episode.
Okay. We're saying it right now.
Okay. We just did. Don't do this stuff in the movie. It's not smart,
Hello and welcome to Cody and Corbin Have a Podcast, the show where two former roommates talk about a new movie every week. This week on the show, we're talking about Dazed and Confused.
All right.
Benny!
You're getting air from there, man. It's no good.
It was the last day of school.
Miss Crawford.
I was thinking that maybe you and I can get together over the summer. I mean, it'll be legal. I mean, look at me.
It was the first day of summer vacation.
You guys know anything about a party here tonight? No, sir.
It was a time they will never forget.
There's a new Fiesta in the making as we speak.
I thought he was cute.
Oh, that's this.
You thought he was cute?
Do you realize when he graduated, we were like 3 years old?
I'm your host, Corbin's Vocal. And as always, I'm joined by my co-host, who is most of the time confused, Cody Webb. Cody, how's it going?
It's going great, man. No, very excited to be back. Recording some KHAP. I think we got a great episode here. But yeah, Dazed and Confused. I guess I would put myself under confused more. It's a tough one, but yeah, man, very excited to be here. But yeah, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. Just last couple of weeks of school. 2 weeks of class left, right?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You excited, man?
Yeah, I'm definitely ready to be done with classes, but I don't know if I'm quite ready to venture out into the real world. But lots of big things incoming. Let's talk about why we picked this movie.
Why?
It was kind of a joint pick. We don't do that too much, but we decided let's work together on something. There's a little bit of, obviously it's not quite the end of like high school time yet, but it is the end of like my school time. So this is kind of reminiscent of, it's the end of the year, the beginning of the summer. It's one of those movies. And it's kind of just a fun hangout movie. JD talked about it, picked it in the 90s movie draft.
Yeah.
And I had mentioned wanting to do it sometime in the future. So we both kind of agreed, why not do it right now?
Yeah, definitely great timing for the pick, I would say, all things considered. But yeah, no, like you said, this wasn't, technically we could call it my pick. I don't really care, but I think it was more of like a joint pick. So yeah, definitely a good one, and excited to talk about it.
Seasonally fitting, I would say.
It's very seasonal. Also, this was the first time I've ever seen this. So it's something as well that was on my list that I wanted to watch, and finally got done with it. So definitely.
Yeah. I had only seen it one other time, but when I did watch it, it really just it's one of those that on like first watch like really sticks with you for a while. So I'm sure you'll kind of feel that later on. But just watched it a couple months ago. Wanted to check it out again for the pod. Talk about it. There's some good and bad that we can get into. So why don't we head into our initial thoughts?
Good morning, Vietnam!
Cody, do you want to hit the first thing, or how do you want to do it?
Yeah, might as well. So I just want to take you quickly through my thought process while watching this movie.
Okay, yeah.
So basically, the movie starts, blah, blah, blah. Great music off the bat. That's my first thought process. My second is, no way, that's Eddie from Friends. And then my second is Ben Affleck's in this movie. Mostly, like as the movie's going along, I'm just like recognizing actors and actresses who I know, which I think is pretty fun. But yeah, like my initial thoughts, like this is just a movie with very immaculate vibes, I would say. It's good vibes only. So definitely, I think that's got it going for it. Like I said, great music, and the plot, there is no plot, but I think just based off the pure vibes, and there's a lot of cool like cinematography stuff, a lot of great like editing, mixing. I think it's a solid flick, and for the first time I'm viewing it as well, it sort of came off as, something that makes sense, that it's like known as a classic, I think, of the 90s. But yeah, overall, I'm fairly positive on this movie, but I do want to hear some of your initial thoughts.
I think I would just agree with just about everything you said there. The music is truly fantastic. I'm going to hit on it a little bit later in another category.
Okay.
But I do love the music. Yes, there's a ton of people that you could recognize. And it's like all these people right at the beginning of their careers before they were anybody, like Ben Affleck was just some dude. Matthew McConaughey was just some guy Richard Linklater ran into. The guy from Rent is in this movie. People this is just like people
Eddie
from all
from
over.
Friends, dude. What about
I've never seen Friends, so
what?
I don't know about Eddie from Friends.
Eddie from Friends. Oh no, I gotta give
is
you
that Goldberg? Is it the Goldberg guy?
Yeah, the Goldberg guy. So
I've seen him in stuff.
Yeah, he's a decent actor. In Friends, though, he's Joey like moves out and he becomes Chandler's new roommate, but he's a psychopath. He thinks like the goldfish that you eat is like a real goldfish. Great episode, but that's the only thing I really know him from, because he's super funny.
He's in Saving Private Ryan apparently as well.
Oh yeah, that's the big thing he's in.
A Beautiful Mind. There's actually two people in this movie who are also in A Beautiful Mind. The ginger guy, Anthony Rapp, he plays Tony. He's in the same crew. He's friends with Mike, he's friends with Eddie from Friends.
Oh, that guy, the blonde guy,
with like the long hair.
Yeah, he's blonde, right?
Yeah, he's like kind of ginger though.
He's got glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's blonde. What are you talking about?
Okay, well, Anthony Rapp is kind of a ginger, so.
Oh, that's the guy from Rent. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, he's also in A Beautiful Mind.
I haven't seen it.
You're fine.
Go ahead.
I watched Rent and A Beautiful Mind both in high school at one point.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I think that my math class used to show A Beautiful Mind. You've never seen A Beautiful Mind?
No, yeah, that's the Russell Crowe joint, right?
Yeah, it's Ron Howard directed it. I think it won Best Picture. It's just about a mathematician who has schizophrenia, and then he cures himself.
That sounds pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
It's a good flick.
What were we talking about?
Getting back into so there's just everybody. It's the who's who of like like kind of set. I don't know. It's interesting. This is pre Good Will Hunting, Ben Affleck, man. True. And the vibes are fantastic. I think the general thing you kind of hit at the end, like it feels like a classic and it's so of its time. And it's kind of, I think, best described as nostalgia. It's like this unique feeling that you don't really see in a lot of films, but it's like this, even though it's not something that we both experienced, we still feel like this nostalgia for that time, because it's similar to at least high school, even if it was a different time period. It's stuff that like Ferris Bueller can kind of feel like, oh, that like perfect high school day, feel nostalgic. Even The Breakfast Club in the 80s, or these other like hangout movies like American Graffiti, or like party movies like Animal House in college, like all these things that like you can feel nostalgic for at any age, whether you're in college experience and or a high school experience, or you're much older and an adult who's like looking back at that time, which is what Linklater was doing when he made the movie. He was looking back his high school days, 15 years later.
Yeah, and to bounce off that real quick, I think this movie is sort of like a mix. It's got sort of like Stranger Thing vibes, but for the 70s, and then you throw in like a high school classic movie like what did you just say? I don't know. But yeah,
Ferris Bueller, Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club, that's what I was thinking of. But like a mix of Stranger Things and Breakfast Club, but for the 70s. I think that's a pretty good way to describe it. It's a lot of nostalgia, but it's a lot of fun at the same time.
And I think I like really am drawn to these movies because even like I kind of consider, and go with me here, like I think Lady Bird kind of has some of those similar vibes for me, and that it's very set, like looking back, it's a director making a movie about their childhood. Maybe it's more dramatic rather than funny, but it's this memory of a time. And even though I wasn't alive, or I wasn't in high school in 2002, I was still like in the high school, kind of in the Midwest. Sacramento's the Midwest of California, being angsty and dramatic and smart and wanting to go play. Like Lady Bird kind of fits into that as well. And then you even have movies like that look back at your childhood, and movies like Belfast, where it's like this nostalgic for this period in the 60s, even though there's all these terrible things happening. It was still this like beautiful innocence of childhood. And Roma, I know, does something similar. And Linklater is kind of in that whole coming of age time period thing. That's it. He's in his bag with that, right? So
yeah,
it perfectly makes sense that in the 90s, he was making a movie about the 70s, about coming of age, even though nothing is serious. And
No, I definitely agree. And kind of round on there, but the beginning, I definitely agree. Lady Bird has immaculate vibes, and I 100%, excuse me, agree with what you're saying, like how it's connected a little bit. But yeah, overall, I mean, I think you hit it on the head. I really can't argue with any of that. So basically, I mean, Linklater as a whole, this is like not specifically his genre, but he does this very well. And I think it's much different than Boyhood, obviously, but it is that coming of age sort of thing that
I mean,
Linklater,
even the Before trilogy is kind of a coming of age. School
yeah,
of Rock is almost a coming of age of like an adult needing to like come into his being an adult and manning
yeah,
up
he's
and
not
like
an
having some
adult,
responsibility.
like a man
Yeah.
child. Yeah, that's definitely true. And I completely forgot he even directed School of Rock. So there you go. Put that in the trivia, I guess. But yeah, that's sort of a coming of age. But I think Linklater, he can do a lot of different things. And I don't. This was not his directorial debut, I don't believe.
It was his second movie.
Okay, but I mean, from an early career perspective, I think this can show like a bunch of studios and a bunch of people like you can do this pretty well. And obviously, he went on to do a lot of good things. So makes sense.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is that he kind of talked about this almost being an inverse to those like 80s John Hughes movies, where at the end of those,
Yeah.
it's like this giant, dramatic, triumphant moment of the big kiss or the
Yeah.
you got into college or like whatever it may be. You realize your true potential. Where in like this is like, hey, at the end of the day, we're just going to get some Aerosmith tickets. Like
Yeah.
that's like the thing at the end. And I don't know. I just really love this genre. Even like movies, there's like the like dramatic, like, harsh inverse of like Eighth Grade and Shithouse, which are like two even in the similar vein coming of age movies. I just really enjoy that genre as a whole. So
Yeah, I definitely agree. And just excuse me, I can't talk to wrap up my initial thoughts. The one thing, like when I ended the movie, was like, what was this movie about? And what I gathered from that was there's lots of smoking and there's extreme bullying. So, this is not the most 2022 movie, I'd say. There's a lot of weird, like hazy good stuff, which is all in good. I'm sure, like we've been saying, it's nostalgic for some people. But going into it, I did not expect that at all. And I just thought it's kind of strange, kind of funny. This movie is pretty problematic for 22, to say the least. But overall, I think, like we were saying, like everything else is pretty good.
yeah, I was gonna hit on that as well.
I figured, yeah.
Yeah, you'd expect that. It's just it's of its time, very much so.
Yeah.
It was made in the 90s. I don't know. You got the bullying, like you said, the kind of like the misogyny. There's like the creepy McConaughey being creepy to like high school girls.
Problematic. Yeah.
That's probably like the worst part.
That's worse than bullying, dude. Wow.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say it's worse than bullying. But we shouldn't. It's all bad. None of it's.
Yeah,
okay.
it's all bad, really.
But that's if you took people in Austin, Texas in 1976, the majority of them would talk like that. You do see kind of like a little bit of the more progressive type characters in this movie, the more hippie, the more 70s like traditional that you see in stuff like That 70s Show or like other depictions of the 70s. But the majority of the people are like those, they're Southerners, right? This is how they would be. Accurate picture, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. And to just to close off my initial thoughts here, I think I said that before, whatever. This movie's it's not like on an upper echelon for me because I think That 70s Show does it better. So, Topher Grace, Ashton Kutcher, Mila Kunis. I mean, you can't beat that show. This movie tries, obviously, but no, I'm joking. But I do think That 70s Show is on a better level than this. So I think, spoiler alert for my rating, it's not going to be like in my upper tier movies.
Because it's more, I mean, where do they live in That 70s Show?
I think
Michigan, Wisconsin. Yeah, like
Michigan's
it's more,
fair.
it feels more
Maybe connected to us. But
of
not
our,
really
yeah. In our area though, like at least we got those Midwest vibes. So I see why it might be more enjoyable. This movie definitely does well in the red states. I'll say that.
Wow. Let's move on to roll credits. How about we?
No, I got something else to say.
Oh, okay. Go for it. I thought you were just rambling.
You were saying there's no plot, but
there is no plot.
Do you consider Pink like to be the main character, or is there just no main character?
No, of course. Pink's definitely the main character.
You think he's the main character? I don't know. I think you could argue that there's just like there is no main. I don't know.
I mean, there's several important characters, but I think Pink is, especially based off the ending, I'd say he's definitely the main character. It's sort of the climax where he's like, I'm going to play on my terms, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, for the majority of it, he is the centerpiece of the movie. He's helping the freshman kid. He's got connections with his sister as well. So, I mean, a lot of this stuff revolves around
everyone is connected to him.
Yeah.
That's fair.
He knows McConaughey. Like, that's the main part of the story, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All in all, I would say Linklater does a good job of pacing his films out. This movie's well paced. It never is too slow. It's just that perfect speed that feels so natural. So let's move on to roll credits.
Roll credits.
Roll credits.
Go ahead, Cody. What do you got to say?
Yeah, I'll start us off. So basically, I mean, in this specific category, I usually talk about the title. Did they say the title? Blah, blah, blah. I think the title is perfect for this movie, obviously. I feel like that's an obvious take. Because all of these kids, they're either dazed or they're confused. I mean, half the kids are just like straight up potheads. The other ones are like confused about their lives. A lot of the freshmen are confused about what's coming. Even some of the seniors are confused about, what they're doing, for the upcoming year. So a lot of confusion, a lot of people being dazed, which makes sense. But I mean, the thing about it is as well is like, I don't know if they ever actually say it in the movie. Can you correct me there? I don't believe they do.
It is not said.
Yeah. So that kind of sucks. I always like that moment where it's like, oh, they said the title, which is like what this category is based around almost. So that's kind of tough, but it is a great title.
Do you know what it's named after?
No, I don't. Inform me, please.
There's a Led Zeppelin song called Dazed and Confused. But the song is not actually in the movie, which is funny considering the large, presence of 70s and 60s rock. No Zeppelin, because at the time they weren't licensing their music out for movies, so he just couldn't get it.
Tough.
But he was able to get a bunch of other great music.
He was able to get the title too, so that's kind of weird. But
well, you just named it. It was inspired by it. It's not. I think that's like within his rights of copyright, I guess. Okay, basically, I just want to say, the opening title of the movie is pretty good. You get Sweet Emotion by Aerosmith playing. They drive in the car. You see like the painted lockers, and then you kind of meet all your main like high school level characters, and it says seniors. And I think it's a good way to open the movie. It introduced you to all the important players early on. So
I agree. I really do like the opening. It's a perfect song choice. And yeah, like you said, it does a good way of introducing a lot of people simultaneously. We get like Pink's, why he wouldn't want to play football off the bat, all that good stuff. So you get a lot of plot, you get a cool song, and you meet all the characters. So yeah, definitely like a solid opening. I would agree.
Yeah, great stuff. To move on to stupidest part.
You stupid. They're not.
I'll get it started.
Go for it.
Listen, the kid wants to smoke pot, whatever. He wants to drink, whatever. Just sign the fucking paper. Yeah. I don't understand why he literally, even his friends are all like, dude, we're still smoking. Like, we're still drinking. Listen, maybe that's bad. But that's what, like, why, if all his friends can just do it, like, why can't he just, is it, like, I guess it's a more dilemma for him. What do you think, Cody? Should he have just signed the paper?
I mean, I guess he's a man of his word, because if he's going to sign a piece of paper, he'll never go back on it. Yeah, like, that could have solved, most of the plot, I would say, in like 10 minutes. Just be like, oh, yeah, here you go, coach. I'll play next year, but, I'm clearly still going to do all this stuff. So, yeah, I mean, that is probably the dumbest part of the movie. I would definitely agree.
It feels weird because it feels like his friends are making him feel bad for like signing it and then keeping doing it, even though they're all like, hey, we're doing it.
Yeah, they kind of are like, yeah, maybe you should give it up, for the better of the team or whatever.
But they're all like, yeah, they're like, gotta do what's right for the team. And then, they're all like, but we're gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, they all signed it. They're still, partying and stuff. So I don't know. That is true as well, but
doesn't make any sense.
I have a couple. Basically, most of it is surrounding the problematic stuff, but we'll get to that, I'm sure. I wanted to start off with what we were talking about earlier as well, with that nothing really happens in this movie, and I don't think we should be giving it a free pass for that. We've had movies like this in the past. I didn't even give Lady Bird a free pass for that, and it's some top tier stuff. But I mean, Corbin, could you please explain to me the plot of the movie? I'd love for you to do that because nothing happens, and that's just not acceptable.
Okay, so I'm really bad with the character names. So
Yeah.
basically, it's the last day of school. They all kind of meet up in the school. They're talking about like, oh, what's happening? Oh,
All right.
all right. Cody's camera just broke, so we're back though. The plot of this movie, honestly, they show up at this high school. It's the last day of school. They're hanging out. Then the chick comes up to him and she's like, "Hey, my brother, he's a freshman. Don't mess this dude up."
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
And they go, and Ben Affleck shows up, and they're like, "Hey, we got to give this dude some extra whoopings." And they pull up, and then they run away, and then the lady pulls a shotgun at them, and then they get to the baseball. But then they're doing a beer bust, and they go to the Emporium, and they beat the shit out of the one kid. But then Pink saves them, and they hang out. That happens before that. That's basically the movie.
That's like the first act. You're really doing a slow burn here.
That's like all that happens.
No, you only give the first act. So all that happens, and then they drive around, and then they have a big party.
So not very much more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I mean, you only explain like the first 10 minutes there.
That's like the first hour of the movie.
I think they probably catch him at the hour mark. Yeah, you're probably right. Oh, no. It's only like a 90-minute movie. No, that can't be right. It's got to be like the half hour mark. Anyways, back to my point. I was just saying this movie
I'm turning off my camera. Fuck you.
I'm just saying this movie really has no real plot. That was
I agree.
Okay, I'm glad we agree with that. What's your dumb thing?
I mean, I already said he's supposed to sign the sheet.
Oh, that was it. I have a couple more. I'll keep rattling.
I got more too.
Oh,
fuck out.
I said, what were your other dumb things?
Listen, guys, it's bad to do drugs and drink in high school. Don't do it. This is a disclaimer from KHAP. Don't do these things.
Who said that?
We took it, 40 minutes to get into the pod, but you shouldn't do these things, especially if you're going to do these things. You shouldn't drive and do it.
Yeah. Well, that's clear. That's very clear. Yeah.
That's my stupid.
Let's add this disclaimer at the top of the episode.
Okay. We're saying it right now.
Okay. We just did. Don't do this stuff in the movie. It's not smart,
Yeah.
That's right. Clear and obvious, I'd say. But, so I do want to talk about some of the problematic stuff in this movie. Is that anywhere on your list of dumb parts? Not really.
I didn't have anything specific, but yes, I was going to talk about it. So my general thoughts were just, there's a lot of problematic stuff in this. That is also very stupid. Do you have examples you want to go through? Do you want to hit them?
Well, I mostly wanted to talk about McConaughey.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's pretty funny how he built his career off of, this character, I would say, for the most part. Everybody still says,
all right.
That is this character.
It's like legit that dude's catchphrase, McConaughey's catchphrase in real life.
I know. It's crazy that's based off this character who is unbelievably creepy. It's like sleeping with underage people. So I thought that's pretty dumb about the movie. Not a big fan of that. But that's probably my biggest gripe with the movie, I would say. And not good. Not good.
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting, honestly.
Yeah, tough to watch.
A lot of the age stuff is weird and bad.
You got any dumb parts?
that was pretty much it. So you did address that.
You just said you had more.
No, I said. Oh my God. I did the drinking and smoking thing.
Oh, that was your dumb part. I thought that was just a disclaimer, a random disclaimer.
That was my dumb part. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Let me hear your best scene here.
She is very gorgeous to me.
All right, my favorite scene, I would say, has to be them on the football field at the end of the movie.
Not to indulge in any alcohol, drugs, sex after 12, or any other illegal activity.
God, my shadow.
Later, baby. Found that in your glove compartment, man.
Hey, you're the third person who's given me this today. God.
But what do you reckon you're gonna do?
So, I don't know, man. I'll probably end up signing it. I just don't want to give in so easy.
Man, it's the same bullshit they tried to pull in my day. If it ain't that piece of paper, some other choice they're gonna try and make for you. You gotta do what Randall Pink Floyd wants to do, man. Let me tell you this. The older you do get, the more rules are gonna try to get you to follow. You just gotta keep living, man. Livin.
And it's really just for one part, and this is really unfortunate because of what we just talked about, but it's because of McConaughey's lines in that scene. It's obviously the best part of the movie. The Livin speech is so iconic, and it's like the perfect culmination of the movie. And you could just end it right there, in my opinion.
No, I completely agree, actually. And that was on the bottom of my list of one of my favorite scenes. I think it's just like a really strong ending, like plot-wise as well, which is impressive. Like it kind of wraps up the story super well, giving a fun theme, just keep living. And then Pink saying, he's doing it on his own terms, whatever, which is a fun conclusion to the movie. And something off the top you said, I think it doesn't end like that storybook way that, most of these like John Hughes types movies might. So, but yeah, another one of my favorite scenes I wanted to throw out there. There's a lot of little moments in this movie. Not so much like specific scenes. Like I don't know how long scenes actually last. Not super long, obviously, but a couple of the little moments I really like. First off, when just like random people were going to that party, they knock on the door and that guy's dad answers and they all like jump in the bushes. I think that's super funny. Ben Affleck getting held at gunpoint, I thought was a great little scene. And then also just to throw in like the big ass party at the end. I think that's probably like a good half hour of the movie, and it's pretty much just like all one scene. I thought that was super well done just from a directorial standpoint, and like the acting I think was actually probably the best there, which is kind of surprising because you have everybody there. But no, I think like I said, it's hard to pinpoint, but those specific moments are probably my favorites.
Yeah, a lot of really fun stuff in this. Highs and lows. The highest of the highs, the lowest of the lows at some points.
Very true. What's your like best scene?
That was my best scene. I already said it.
Which one?
The fucking one I started with. The football field.
Oh, that's it?
Yes.
All right.
I said that was my favorite scene.
That's a good pick. I definitely agree with you.
Oh my fucking God.
What is wrong with you?
Let's talk filmmaking.
We are Full Sail University. We take dreams serious.
Cody, did you bring anything today?
I didn't bring too much today, dude, if I'm being honest. I wanted to point out again, the soundtrack is great. Super well, I think, choreographed, whatever. Great direction there. That's what I meant to say. But I did bring as well, like great filmmaking, scenes, and they're hard to do a lot of the time, especially when it's just driving around in smoking pot. So, I mean, I feel like specifically with like the camera work, there's not like anything noticeable, but I'll throw it over to you. Basically, I have nothing.
Thank you for saying so much. So little time. I gotta say, I was gonna talk about the soundtrack as well. A little fun fact for you: about 1/6 of the entire budget was spent on the music for this film. So, really a lot of care, a lot of decisions made. They used what was called diegetic sound. Do you know what that is, Cody?
I don't actually.
So diegetic sounds are when the music is actually coming from inside the scene. So like it's playing on a radio and then it like is part of the score. Whereas instead of just like music playing over top. So there's a lot of times in this movie where you just have like music playing in the background, a lot like when they're at the Emporium. Specifically, there's that terrible, creepy McConaughey line about teenage girls or about high school girls. And there's like, in the background, Fox on the Run is playing underneath it. And so that's diegetic. And then it'll flow into maybe like a louder or quieter, depending on the scene. But there's also just music throughout the whole thing. I wanted to hit a couple of songs. Sweet Emotion by Aerosmith to open it up, which obviously plays into them going after the Aerosmith tickets at the end of the movie. You kind of get to meet all the big players there. Then you get Free Ride by Edgar Winter awesome. when everybody's getting picked up. Great moment. Then you get Low Rider. Oh, do, 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 ride. You know what I'm talking about? My friend, the low rider. The low rider is a little higher.
Yeah. Good song as well.
By War, where they're cruising around. And that, a lot of the way that shot kind of reminds me how the intro to that 70s show is shot. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's like on the dashboard and like on the car.
In the car, yeah.
It kind of reminds me of that. And then when Mitch first enters the Emporium, they have Bob Dylan's Hurricane playing, which is like symbolic of this young kid entering maturity with the most mature artist on the whole thing, Bob Dylan, being played and talking about a hurricane. He's entering this world of drinking and partying, and it's a hurricane to him. And then as the party's wrapping up, you hear Tuesday's Gone by Leonard Skinner. It's the perfect ending. Everything's closing. And then as the credits roll, you get the classic driving song Slow Ride by Foghat. So
definitely like it. It's like, I think you missed a couple actually.
No, there's so much more, but I hit the high points.
Those are definitely the high points. Yeah, Fox on the Run also. What a good song. Not a great scene leading into it, but whatever. And then Cherry Bomb, which he's also in Guardian as well. Great song, but no, definitely hit on most of the strong points there, I would say.
Let's move on to weird movie details trivia.
Right. Naked grandma. Naked, huh?
Why'd you say it like that?
Because I got some good trivia for you today, Cody. I have 2 questions. How many you got?
I got 1. I'm lacking on trivia this week, so you got to.
All right. I really like these questions, so we'll see what you can do. Who else was considered for the role of O'Banion, which is the character that Ben Affleck plays?
Okay.
You want choices?
100%. Yeah.
Vince Vaughn, Jon Favreau, Brad Pitt, Luke Wilson.
Those are good choices. So we got to think like the time era as well. I would guess it's not Brad Pitt, but that'd be very cool casting if it was. I think Vince Vaughn is a good shout. What was the first one again?
Vince Vaughn, Jon Favreau, Brad Pitt, Luke Wilson.
Maybe Jon Favreau too. Actually, when he was young, he's in a bunch of stuff like this. I'm gonna go Vince Vaughn just because I really like to see that.
It is Vince Vaughn. Good job. Brad Pitt. I just pulled that out of Brad Pitt and Luke Wilson. I made those up, but Jon Favreau was considered to be in this movie, just not in that particular role. So
see, I was right on. That's not surprising.
You're all over it.
All right, my question. It's more of an interesting one. I thought. Basically, the question is, what percentage of the money that this movie made did Richard Linklater say that he made off the movie? What's the percentage of the total amount of money, basically?
I don't get choices.
No choices. 0 to 100.
What is this question? Can we do can I do like a high low?
Yeah, sure. Do whatever you want.
I would like 25%.
Okay, let's do that.
Is it higher or lower?
Oh, then that. What do you mean? It's lower.
Okay.
You want me to give you the answer?
No. I'm saying 25%.
I know. That's wrong.
Is it higher? No. Is it higher or lower?
It's lower.
Okay, so like 2%.
No.
Okay, what's the answer?
The answer. That took a long time to get to the answer here. It's 0%. That's why I think he did not make any money off this. That's such a dumb
trivia question.
What? I told you I'm weak on trivia. I didn't say it was a good one. But that is interesting. I mean, based off of, it's more of like considered a cult classic, so it didn't do crazy well in theaters. But I mean, the amount of money that's made off like DVDs, whatever, VHS.
It was a flop at the box office.
Right, but it was a hit. Like, it's a cult classic, like The Crow. Yeah. Nobody sees it in theaters, like Shawshank, and then it becomes a big thing after release. And I guess he got gypped in his contract and didn't get any money. But I thought that was funny, so I threw that in there. But let's hear your second one.
What future Oscar winner is seen here as an uncredited extra? And I'm going to have to send it to you, okay? So for all
is the audience going to be able to see this?
For all the people at home, go to our Instagram at KHAP Podcast.
Okay.
Our latest post. It's about this movie. It'll be the second picture over. Swipe over. Okay. I just sent it to you, Cody. You looking at it? The girl that's walking there with the
I can't even see her face.
No, that's the thing. It's just a trivia piece. Red and blue striped shirt.
She's a future famous actress.
She's an uncredited extra, future Oscar-winning actress.
Oscar winning.
I got 4 choices for you.
Can I just take a guess off the bat?
Okay, take a guess.
Brie Larson. Let me hear the choices.
Brie Larson's too young, my man. Think about it.
In the 90s.
She's 34.
She's like 40.
She's like 34.
Okay, give me the options. That's not a bad guess.
Let me double check. 32. She's 32. She's way too young.
She's pretty young. Yeah, she's pretty young. All right. Bad guess, I guess. Wait, let's hear the options.
Julianne Moore.
That's a good one.
Kate Blanchett. Hilary Swank. Renee Zellweger.
Well, I'll tell you what, those are all pretty good options. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm good at this.
My gut pointed directly to Julianne Moore, but I don't think that's right. It kind of did look like Kate Blanchett, weirdly enough. So I'm gonna guess that.
It's Renee Zellweger.
It looks like Renee Zellweger, to be fair. Those options you gave me are not very helpful. Stop.
Julianne Moore has red hair, dude.
Yeah, I'm aware, but she's had different hair colors in different movies.
Okay.
Her hair color was she in Boogie Nights. I don't think it was red.
I don't. Oh, 1 for 2. Let's move on to our commercial break, and we'll be right back. And we're back with Who Can Act.
Wow.
Cody, take it away. Who Can Act?
Yeah, I think this movie, there's probably a lot of underrated performances, I'd say, in this movie, because I don't think too many specifically are actually bad. So that means there's a lot more good than there is bad. My choices, first off, I did want to say Jason London, who is the main guy, Pink. I said this before. I think he carries the movie pretty well. He's the main character 100% in my book. I think his performance is great. I don't know why he wouldn't be the main character. Corbin clearly agrees, but, whatever. But yeah, I think he basically is like the emotional weight of the movie as well. Because, the only real emotion is, is he going to play football or not? That's an important decision. Yeah, I think he did an excellent job as a lead. I'm going to say it again, in a massive ensemble. So I think sometimes you can just get lost, even if you are in a higher billing role, which I think some people do in this movie. But he definitely does not. I think he shines, and it is my first pick. I do have another, but I'll throw it over to you.
Yeah, I don't quite agree with that, but I'll talk about it.
Really?
Later.
I think he's really good. I don't know why you wouldn't say that.
I just don't think so. I'm gonna hit, and we've kind of talked about it already, but dude, Ben Affleck is in this fucking movie.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That's crazy. I even forgot that. Like, I watched it the first time, and then I was rewatching, and I was like, "Oh shit, Ben Affleck's in this! What the fuck?"
Yeah. I feel like I should have known that, even though I've never seen it. But I was very surprised when he popped on the screen.
Yeah, it's like a hidden, and it's like so recognizable. It's not like,
oh yeah,
like you instantly know it's Ben Affleck.
It's the most Ben Affleck's ever been, I think.
And yeah, it's like a perfect character for him. He's such a fucking douchebag.
Yeah.
He's like the worst person ever.
Yeah, but he's so good at it.
Nice try, freshman. Tell you what, for being such brave little kids, I'm only gonna give each of you 5 licks. Okay? All right, grab a pole then, kid. Let's get going.
I don't think so, creep.
Mom!
Carl, get in the house.
Get in the house.
And you, get the hell off my property.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, ma'am. I was just escorting your fine young son home from school. There are some ruffians about, and I... Oh, and Mitch, Carl, we'll be seeing each other again. Oh, that's it. I fucking saw that, you little sack of shit. You two are fucking dead. You hear me? You're fucking dead.
And Ben Affleck's incredible. So there's not even like heart. There's not even the slightest bit of heart to it, which is like Good Will Hunting. Like, yeah, maybe he's a bit of a douche, but at least like there's still heart there. This guy is just an asshole through and through. So.
All right, my second pick is an interesting one because she has virtually no lines. It is Mila Jovovich. I believe that's how you say her name.
Is that Sabrina?
What's her character name? I don't know.
Is it the young girl, the 8th grade girl?
No. You don't know who Mila Jovovich is? It's the girl from like Resident Evil.
I'll look it up.
Anyways, she's like part of the smoker gang. She's that girl who has like no lines and just does like cool stuff. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, Michelle.
Yeah, sure. Anyways, I think she's super memorable, even though the fact is, like, I don't even know if she has one line. I think she has like one or two. I could completely be wrong, but I think she's very charismatic and like she does something with the character. Like she just does like cool like actions around these people that you just slightly notice. But I think this is just telling of, out of most of the people in this movie, a lot of them didn't like have like great careers or didn't go on to keep acting, whatever. And Mila Jovovich, did go on to do other stuff. So even though like she's a tiny part of the movie, I think she's a standout in my eyes. But yeah, kind of a weird pick.
She dates the one dude.
Which one? Parker?
The guy who was gonna throw the party.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. No, that is correct. Yeah. But they're like a super small part of the story, I think.
Yeah, pretty much. He's Mr. Pickford. It's there. She's there, and then
yeah.
I mean, you gotta give it to McConaughey. Like, it's bad. It's a bad character. No. It's bad lines, but I mean, he is playing it well. It's very accurate. It's a very strong performance. And like, if you cut out all the nasty stuff, like the charismatic parts are still like so great, so iconic. It's like, I mean, that's the thing. Like nowadays, just everybody just cuts all those parts out, and we just get to hear like, all right, and the LIVN thing. Like the other stuff, they push that to the side. So
yeah, it's true. I mean, he does have like a lot of iconic stuff from this movie off it. So you're definitely right, but still problematic.
Obviously, yes. All right. Who can't act?
That's my opinion!
Yeah, I got a couple here. Off the bat, I do want to shout out Parker Posey, who, again, is in a small role in this movie, but she is an actress who I know, and I'll tell you what, she's not good in this at all. She's sort of like the bully senior girl who like leads the cause on that. And, I mean, what her character is basically just a straight-up asshole. Like, it's Ben Affleck, but on the other side. And I think she's just not good at it at all, which kind of sucks because I feel like if they had that other like strong force that everyone's scared of, besides Ben Affleck, they could have been like a strong duo. But Parker Posey, like I said, she's gone on to do other stuff. Most notably, what I know her from is Superman Returns. Have you seen that golden movie, Corbin? Yeah, I haven't.
No.
That's wow. I can't believe that.
Brandon Routh.
Yeah, Kevin Spacey, James Marsden. Hell of a cast.
I mean, Jackson was just watching that earlier. He sent me a picture of it. That dude's obsessed with Superman, though.
I think I watched it like 6 months ago. I mean, it's not bad, but it's definitely not good. It's definitely boring. But yeah, anyways, she's in that, so that's why I know her from. That was like, I think, the main three people who I could point out and be like, oh, I know them from that, and Eddie from Friends. But there's not many actors and actresses in this movie that I can say. And I knew Parker Posey, and I thought she was like seriously bad. So yeah, that's one of my picks. Who's yours?
Well, I don't think Jason London is very good at this movie.
Oh, the gloves are going off.
I think he's one of the weakest parts. He's just so corny through the whole thing. Like, just everything he does is just so corny and like, oh, I don't want to sign the paper. Oh. Just shut up, dude.
That was the worst. You just hate this guy personally, I think. That was terrible.
No, it's bad. Not bad. And then also the little kid, Mitch.
Yep, that's my second pick.
Wiley Wiggins.
Wiley Wiggins. What a name. Wiley Wiggins.
It's iconic. That is good. Wiley Wiggins, you're a man of honor. You should come on the pod.
You got a great name, but you are not good in this movie.
Wiley Wiggins, I believe, went on to become a video game designer.
Oh, that's actually really cool.
Stopped acting, designs video games. So shout out to him.
Yeah, big shout out to him. We should actually try and get him on the pod. He'd probably come.
We'll hit him up. He's been in some stuff recently, but yeah, he's done some video game stuff. It's cool.
Best name in Hollywood.
All right. Moving on though. Sorry,
I want to talk about Wiley Wiggins.
We probably can't get him on the pod because
probably not.
He's not great in this movie though.
Yeah, are we gonna lash him and then still try to get him on the pod? I say we do it.
That's what I'm saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm definitely down. So basically, I mean, obviously he plays like the cool kid freshman coming in. Mitch, my man Mitch. The character as a whole, I would say, is pretty lovable. but he's just clearly not a good actor. I don't want to bash this guy or whatever, but child actors, Corbin hates them. I usually enjoy them, but this one, it was kind of just like, does this kid know he's in a movie, or is he just standing around like just playing off everybody's lines? I don't know. What do you think about it, Corbin?
Dude, I mean, I wouldn't be much better than this, to be honest.
No, you'd be terrible. But
I've been editing my little film, and I'm not a good actor either, and I'm not fucking anything. But
you've been my man Mitch, though? That's the question.
Wiley Wiggins, he's got great hair. I love the hair.
That's true.
He's dripped out.
You can't diss the hair. Like
you can throw, but
argument.
The acting's not great. So
yeah, agreed.
That's all we can say. But hey, Wiley, we love you.
Big fan, Wiley.
Doing great. You're doing great.
You need to grow your hair out again like that.
Facts, dude. All right. The recast.
You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
So I kind of have I got like 3 different things I want to hit. What do you got?
I got a lot of fun recasts here.
I got something really horrid. Should we start with the horrid thing or end?
Yeah, let's start off dour.
Okay. So there's only up from here, I guess, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I stumbled upon this article by Screen Rant, and it's called "Recasting Dazed and Confused If It Was Made Today."
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna share my screen with you, so
okay.
you can just see who these people are, because you might not recognize some of them. Okay.
They're gonna put them in. Okay, God.
So first, number 10, Pink, Adrian Blake Insco. Do you know this guy?
No.
I don't know. He's in Dickinson. Apparently, this isn't that big of a deal. Here's a big one right here. Mitch would be Zendaya.
Okay.
I think it's fun. Zendaya's great. I think she could play a better character than Mitch.
Yeah, is her name gonna be Mitch? Just switch.
Well, no.
Switch to a girl.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't like that. Here we go. Dustin Abrams. This kid is also in Euphoria, so they hit us with the double Euphoria kids.
Too much Euphoria already.
This kid is he really had it bad this past season, so justice for him. But
I don't know who it is.
Austin Abrams. They want to play Don, which is the other football guy. Tariq Sharif playing Jody. I actually don't know much about this person. Haunting a Bly Manor. I've heard good things. So this might be okay. I can get behind this, but it gets funnier. Here we go. Olivia Rodrigo. They want Olivia Rodrigo to play Kay.
Oh man, this is gonna be a terrible movie.
Because Olivia Rodrigo, hey, she makes amazing music. Don't mess with her music.
She'll add to the soundtrack, bro.
But I don't know if she should be in this. This is where it gets really funny. This is out of left field. All right, Nathan Fielder, who is what, 30?
Yeah.
They want to play Slater, the stoner kid, who's not he's a high schooler.
No, that's a great pick. This is one of the most underrated comedians of our time. I back down.
Let's get Nathan Fielder to play Slater. That is hilarious. They want Ben Affleck to be played by this dude. I don't even know who this is. Paul Mescal.
Terrible pick for Ben.
You got to get somebody amazing that's got a bright future.
You think Jamal Murray, bro?
They want Mike to be played. They want Mike to be played by Jamal Murray. Another left field pick. So we got 2 Euphoria stars. Somebody from Dickinson, Jamal Murray, and Nathan Fielder. And Olivia Rodrigo, pop sensation. Wooderson. They want McConaughey's character to be played by Saoirse Ronan.
This doesn't make sense for the character, but okay.
Saoirse Ronan, she's great.
She's still hitting on underage girls.
And then finally, Cynthia to be played by the love of many, Phoebe Bridgers. I see her all the time on TikTok, so shout out to Phoebe Bridgers, Cynthia. Just a straight, what do you make of a list like that?
That is about as bad as a list as you can see. I would say Jamal Murray is the one just straight out of left field for me. But Screen Rant. I mean, you got
Jamal Murray, hell of an athlete, but why is he acting in this movie?
that might be worse casting than what we're about to say, and that's pretty embarrassing. So yeah, not great.
Yeah, so that was the main thing I wanted to share. Well, I'll kick it over to you.
Okay. Anyways, so basically for the recast, the first one that I do want to replace is that the main stoner kid. I think he does have great
Slater?
vibes. Yeah, Slater. That's the character name. I don't know the actor's name, whatever. But he's getting replaced, and I'm throwing in, one of the classic, I would say.
Nathan Fielder?
Yeah, is that his name?
You're replacing him with Nathan Fielder?
No, did I say that?
No, that's what I'm saying. Slater. That's who I was gonna replace him with.
I wish, but I didn't think of that quickly. I'm replacing him with Seth Rogen.
Classic.
I want a young Seth Rogen here. Obviously, he's got.
He might be too young. So you want
Freaks and Geeks Seth Rogen? That's the specific one I want to throw in. And I think he would just be an additional like just blast of energy for the movie, which I think would be fun. But yeah, might as well throw him in because he'd fit right in.
See, that's fun because I actually wanted to do so. You kind of do have a little bit of a temporal shifting there because Seth Rogen would have been like 9 when this movie came out. So
yeah,
would have, like Freaks and Geeks, like you said, a little bit later.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to do is make somebody younger. We're gonna take Keanu Reeves. Obviously, when this movie came out, he would have been like 30 or like 26. So he's too old. But I want him to play Mitch. So give me like 14-year-old Keanu Reeves to play Mitch.
Really young Keanu.
Yeah, I don't even think he was acting anything at that age.
Okay.
But I think he would have get the long hair because we know what like 20-year-old Keanu looks like. And I think, let's make Mitch Keanu.
No, it's actually a really good pick, honestly. And kind of fits perfectly. I don't think either of them could probably act at 14. So it probably wouldn't be much better. But definitely a good pick. My second one, which I think is probably my best one of the day. I'm getting rid of Pink. What's his name again?
Jason London.
Jason London. I'm getting rid of Jason London.
You said he could act, and you're kicking him out.
I can, but I know there's somebody better for the role, and that man's name is Topher Grace. I'm kind of sad that Topher Grace didn't grow up in the era where he could play this role because he's obviously perfect at it. But I'm throwing obviously like that 70s show, Topher Grace, straight into this movie. Like same thing for Seth Rogen, just so much energy. So I feel like he would just be a completely different character, but still, completely lovable. So I'm throwing Topher in. That's my guy. Got to back it.
Funnily enough, the third piece of the third note I had written down was just putting in that 70s show motherfuckers in this movie. Like,
yes.
They would all be great at it. So
put
any of them in there. They play the character so well. So
I back it. Got any more recasts?
That's all I got. That was my third thing. Let's move on to the rating.
You're gonna look at me and you're gonna tell me that I'm wrong? Am I wrong?
I don't know. This is kind of a tough one to rate. I feel like it's gonna be a mid-tier probably rating for me, but I'm not too sure. I'm thinking around like mid-50s probably. I kind of want to do like 54, 55. I think I'm gonna throw it at 56. 56 out of 69. That's a pretty good score, I think. So yeah.
Well, Cody, we're finally on a wavelength today because I also was gonna give this thing a 56 out of 69.
Oh my goodness.
It actually puts that right below what I ranked the other Linklater film, School of Rock, is a 57 for me. So this is kind of like not quite 4.5 stars. We've talked about it a lot in this movie. I described it in my Letterboxd review when I first saw the movie as there's a lot of this that you kind of despise.
Yeah.
But also it's like one of the greatest films ever at some points. Like some of it is like the greatest stuff ever, but then also like you hate and like are not a fan of a lot of it. So
I completely agree. I think that described it about as well as it could. So yeah, that definitely makes sense in my head. But yeah, it finally happened. We have the same score. I feel like that's some monumental event right here. Kind of crazy.
I think it's the first time. So
it is. It's gotta be
pretty crazy. That was, I think, a piece of trivia that we had recently. We have a podgorithm.
Wow, what a difference.
Season 3.
Let's get something good today.
We need something good. Last couple have been stinkers, I think.
Oh.
I don't even remember.
Oh, here's a classic. Small Soldiers.
I haven't seen that. How was that even in there? Oh my God. What?
Okay, Cody, describe how you even know what Small Soldiers is. Go.
Small Soldiers. I don't know what it is. It was a picture of Corbin. Basically has a bunch of pictures on his wall at Purdue, and one of them had like toy soldiers or something. I was like, what the heck's that? Like some scene from Toy Story I never saw. No, evidently it's this movie. And he really likes it, but I don't know. I literally don't know anything about it. So I can't believe it's in the Blockbuster game. It's kind of embarrassing, but yeah, that's my.
I think that validates everything I've ever stood for, because so like you said, yeah, I have this thing on my wall where it's 10 by 10 of 100 movies, little screen grabs from it, and I like to do a little test when people come over and I say, you know, how many can you name? And Cody, what did you get? Like 99, I think. 98, maybe.
I think I did a lot of them.
You missed like one or two. At least.
Yeah, I think I missed like two.
But you missed Small Shoulders, which is Cody. That's probably one of the highest, or maybe JD was also here and he did very well as well. You two are at the very top. Jake did terrible.
Big surprise. Come on,
Austin, June. Terrible. Nobody can ever get it. But JD Hoover and you, Connor never knew the movies. No one knows the movies. But one of the films is Small Soldiers, and it's this movie that I watched growing up. We had it on VHS tape, and it's kind of a Toy Story type jam, except it's a specific brand of toys, and there's like the good guys and the bad guys. Well, it's like the bad guys are like the military like people, and then there's like the good like creatures that are getting attacked, and there's this family. Cody's falling asleep over there.
I don't know what the hell this movie is. This movie sounds like the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
The army soldiers like try to attack this house.
Is it like a kids movie? Who's it aimed at?
It's a kids movie, but it's got adult themes. And then it's kind of like a colonizer like depiction type thing, and it's a solid film. And then these like creatures that are being oppressed by the military like went out and they get their rebellion and with the family, and
it's like Dune.
There's like sacrifice and stuff. It's really beautiful, but it's kind of Toy Story.
Dune, Toy Story.
Yeah, but it's like it's set in the real world. Oh, it's not animated.
What? What are these creatures?
It's live action.
Or what are they, like dogs?
They're
squirrels?
No. They're dolls that run around. They're action figures.
God. That
but
doesn't
they're
make
like
sense.
CGI. They're like 90s CGI action figures.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like the soldiers.
It's like stop motion.
What are the creatures? Okay. This movie sounds terrible.
Can I show you pictures of it, Cody? We're going on a tangent, but everyone, if you're listening,
I'm not Googling it.
If you're still out there, Google Small Soldiers. It's a 1998 film. Tommy Lee Jones is in it. Does that sell you?
No.
You don't like Tommy Lee Jones?
Not in some weird claymation stop motion animation.
It's not stop motion. It's not. Gregory Smith.
Who's Gregory Smith?
So look, this is what they look like.
Yeah, I know what they look like.
So it's not.
It's a toy company.
Yeah, but this is kind of how it looks like in the movie too.
No, those are the creatures.
There's real people in the scene. These are the
like
creatures.
Aliens, bro.
Yeah, they're getting oppressed by these guys, the bad, and he's gonna match and see that there's like real people here. With the Small Soldiers. It's a beautiful flick. Check it out. I actually can't believe it's in the game either.
Yeah, that's very surprising.
So we'll probably do it on the pod one day. So
I'm not watching that movie. That's in the Morbius categories. I'm not watching that movie.
All right, so speaking of, let's move on to our recommendations.
I drink your milkshake. I drink it up.
Speaking of what? That was a terrible transition. Okay.
Cody, guess what I did? Cody, guess what I did Friday night?
What'd you do?
I saw Morbius.
Oh my God. Let's hear your thoughts on it.
That's why I said speaking of. It's not terrible. It's not a good movie. Like all jokes aside, it's not a good movie. But the thing is, my biggest complaint is it just feels really disjointed, and it's like there's scenes missing or stuff's been cut. It just was not put together very clearly. It's just kind of confusing, and you could tell it had a struggled kind of post-production and then release and then pushed back and release. And there's stuff in the trailer, like the Spider-Man graffiti doesn't even show up in the movie. Have you heard about the post-credit scene in this, Cody?
I heard it was something weird that got spoiled, but I never even looked into it.
Do you want me to tell you, or do you want to?
Yeah, I'm not going to watch the movie.
Okay, so this is a spoiler alert for Morbius. The post-credit scene. Post-credit scene is just Michael Keaton showing up, which you know is going to happen because it's in the trailer.
Oh, he's not in the movie?
No, he's in the post-credit scene.
What's he say?
So what happens is the sky cracks open. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Sky cracks open, and then suddenly you go to this jail, and Michael Keaton's there, and he's like, I hope the food's better in this universe.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
And then it cuts and some more credits play. And then it comes back and it's like the news, and it's like self-identified Adrian Toombs has been discovered at the penitentiary. And then Morbius is like driving out into the countryside, and he shows up at the spot, and then fucking the Vulture with his new suit comes raining down on him, but he's wearing a mask the whole time. And then he's like, hey, Spider-Man sent me here. You trying to make a team or some shit? And then Morbius just like looks at him, but it's his mask doesn't even open up. So it's literally just a voiceover of Michael Keaton like saying this that's been added on at the end. The other thing that these movies have is that their villains are the exact same as their heroes. Like both the Venom movies, it's just a bad Venom. And like this, he's just fighting a bad vampire.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's pretty
the effects were not that bad. Like I thought they were fine.
I doubt that.
Jared Leto was Jared Leto.
Basically, the end credit scene was just saying Spider-Man was asking to team up with him.
Like Spider-Man sent me here in a bad way.
Oh, okay. Well,
like Spider-Man sent me here. Like I'm stuck here because of Spider-Man.
Yeah, so he's gonna team up with him. Whatever.
Let's make a team. But like Morbius doesn't know who the fuck Spider-Man is. The only thing that was in there was the Daily Bugle. That was like the only connection to like a Spider-Man world.
Yeah, that's really weird how they did that, honestly. And I don't really understand why that movie was made, but that's just me.
Yeah, it's strange. What do you got for us this week?
Yeah, I got a couple recs. I actually have quite a bit of recommendations. First off, I think last week we didn't even talk about Moon Knight.
It's been 2 weeks that we could have talked about it, and we haven't talked about it.
So I don't know how I missed that.
I was going to talk it. I had it written down.
Yeah, I don't know how we missed that. But I actually haven't even finished the third episode, so throw that out there. Don't spoil anything for me. But the first episode is very good. I like the first episode a lot. And the second, I thought it was a little bit, not as good. And then the third episode so far, I think is definitely on that level. I think the first episode was just really cool because you didn't know what was going on. Then once everything we found out, it's kind of like, yeah, whatever. The action in the suit is obviously very cool. And Oscar Isaac is such a good actor. But, it's like 6 episodes or whatever. I think the first one was good. Second and third have been okay so far. So I'm pretty optimistic. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I really liked the first episode. These last 2 have kind of just not as interested me as much. But I think it has the potential to like get back up there.
Yeah.
It's just right now it's like, kind of predictable. Nothing too crazy.
I like Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, the villain's cool. It's getting more into like the God stuff this episode. You've seen so
the third episode is there's a lot of God talk, and I was like, do I care about this? I don't know. But
yeah.
Still decent. So
I'd say looks like there's a new personality or another personality.
Yeah, because they're kind of like cutting it out, and
they were both blacking out. So
that's cool too. I guess that'll be interesting. But anyways,
I like the Mr. Knight suit. That's cool. I
like both suits a lot. Yeah, definitely back that. But my other recommendation, which oh man, it's a doozy this week. Actually we can talk about Survivor too, but I want to get to this first. So I watched a couple more episodes of the show Picard, and this is up there for the absolute worst television I've ever seen in my life. It's bad. It is very, very bad. Like the first season was not good. This is a next level bad. Like at this point, I'll just hate watching it and like talking crap to my family about it because it's that bad. But let me give you a rundown of just a little episode structure they had here. So basically, also in general, script's terrible, acting's terrible, all that good stuff. But they have been doing this weird thing where every episode they like clearly are just talking about politics for a half hour, which, most of the politics I happen to agree with, but I'm not here to talk about politics this much for a show called Picard. So that's dumb. And then as well, they hit Patrick Stewart with a car with the actor who's Data, which is just so weird. It's so terrible. Their main themes this season is they have to save a girl from depression, so the future is not changed negatively. Like, come on, dude. Like, I get it. Mental health stuff is super important right now. I think it's very important, but that might be the dumbest thing I've heard in my life.
It's not really an effective way to translate that message.
Yes, like they're saying good things in the worst way possible, I think. But terrible show. Do not watch this show. But I had to talk about it a little bit. But anyways,
I texted my mom and she said, "Yeah, I watch it. It's all right."
Yeah, well, my mom likes it too, so I don't know what that says, but not a good flick. But yeah, we can definitely talk about Survivor because it was the merge episode, and I want to hear your thoughts.
A little 2-hour action.
Yeah.
I actually watched it like right away when it came out, which was nice. Applebee's, man.
Evidently, Applebee's is really good. I never thought it was that good of food, but these people are fucking just love it.
So here's the thing. I'm not like a veteran Survivor fan. Is this something that happens all the time? Or is this like these people are being really weird about Applebee's?
Yeah, well, it's a little bit of both. Like for certain rewards, or I guess usually it is for rewards. It's not really the merge. They just have like somebody sponsor them and do some sort of food. But more recently in the new age of Survivor, I guess Applebee's has become like their permanent sponsor. And they're always just screaming, "I love Applebee's. That's my favorite spot to eat." Like, dude, shut up. They paid you to say that. But yeah, kind of a weird choice, but they sponsor them, so I think that's why.
Like the food looked alright. I can't imagine. I mean, it probably does taste delicious when you have like eaten barely anything.
Yeah, and the thing about this season is like they're not even eating rice, so they are just like legit starving.
Yeah. Like Jonathan was going ham on that stuff.
Yeah. Jonathan's a good guy, but I thought it was actually a really good merge episode. Did you think the same or not really?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty solid. I think Omar kind of seemed like the MVP of the episode.
He had a hell of an episode. I'll tell you what, man, that was a showdown right there between Hai and Omar. And tell you what, there's a clear winner. Hai even voted against supposedly his best ally. So yeah. I actually thought it was a super interesting episode.
He said, "Oh, I'm so honest. Like I was going to go to Rocks for Lydia," and then he votes her out.
Yeah, I mean, he's clearly just outnumbered, and like that's just how he wants to play, which is probably smart. But yeah, no, I thought it was a good episode. Obviously, Rocksroy is gonna flip the challenge and everything. That's clearly obvious. But then, out of like the people who were left, there was a clear target, Tori, who wins immunity, and then it goes from like an easy vote to they switch everything. It's still an easy vote to we have to break our alliances immediately before the merge, which I think is pretty interesting.
It's pretty solid, yeah. Because it was like, oh, we're gonna either way, even if we flip, we're gonna take out either Tori or we're gonna take out Chanel, right?
Yeah.
And then
she's gone next episode.
Then they flipped and
yeah. Adios Chanel, good character. But I mean, the cool thing about the vote is as well, Jonathan didn't go home, which I was shocked that he's not targeted more because
everyone was saying his name and then Omar was like, nope, no shot.
If he goes to like the final 9, I legit think that guy could win like 8 challenges. Like he's an absolute monster. But yeah, I thought it was
he didn't win this one, which I guess kind of like that's the thing. Like
yeah, and he like built a super strong connection with Mike too, which I thought was surprising. So he's definitely got a lot of friends, obviously.
He's really just got like Romeo, who's a big hater right now.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, they're doing a lot of cool things. Like there's also 3 idols in play. There's also that one weird thing where they're all connected, and if somebody
gets
voted out, like
one of those people probably has to go soon. But I don't know.
So there's a lot of moving parts, and it could be a couple of interesting episodes to follow. So surprisingly, after all pre-merge, I was saying, this season kind of it sucks. I'm not a big fan. I'm kind of turned on it. If next week is a great episode, I am going to be very excited for the rest of the season. But we'll obviously see. It'll probably be shit, knowing Survivor. But this was a good episode, I thought.
Yep. We'll catch another one tonight as this releases. So
that is
talk
true.
about it next week. Anything else you wanted to talk about?
No. Like I said, that was kind of a lot of Rex, but no, I'll definitely pass it here. That's all I got.
I also watched The Fallout. You heard about this film?
I don't think so.
It's an HBO Max release. It's basically about this girl who there's a school shooter at her school. And she has this traumatic incident, and it's her trying to overcome it. But it's Jenna Ortega, who was in the new Scream movie, and just a couple other different things. Then it's also got Maddie Ziegler, and she's in that Sia music. Are you familiar with that film?
With the what? You mean the Shia LaBeouf one?
No, I don't think so. There's a movie called
video?
No, there's a music. What?
There's an actual movie with.
There's a movie called Music, directed by Sia.
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's basically this very problematic film about a girl who has autism, and Maddie Ziegler plays the girl with autism in the film, and it's literally got a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I'd never heard of it.
And it was directed by Sia, the musical artist.
I know who Sia is. Yeah, no, that's weird. I've never.
Yeah, it came out in 2021, and yeah,
sounds like a terrible movie.
Yeah, it's not great. But she's also in this movie. I don't know. The Fallout's interesting. It's okay. The dialogue's kind of also watched Little Miss Sunshine. You talked about Paul Dano, baby.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. It was a little predictable, but it was fun. Terrible dad, but
yeah. No, I love that movie. That's a great movie. Steve Carell, so good in that movie.
Steve Carell, yeah. I actually didn't know Steve Carell was in that movie entirely.
Really? No, he's so good.
I was surprised. Yeah, and then I also watched Admission, which is Paul Rudd and Tina Fey. Just kind of, having some fun.
Jonah Hill, right?
Not great. No.
No.
That's a different movie.
I don't know.
You're talking about Accepted, I think.
Oh yeah. What'd you say? Admission?
Admission, yeah. Paul Rudd, Tina Fey.
What do they do?
She's an admissions officer at Princeton. He's a teacher at a school. He tells her, hey, this kid's trying to get into Princeton, but also he's your son that you gave away when you were in college.
What the? Is it a comedy?
It's a romantic comedy because then they also sleep together. Paul Rudd and Tina Fey. And Nat Wolff is playing her son. But then, spoiler alert, at the end of the movie, she basically gets her kid into Princeton by cheating him into Princeton. And then she tells the kid, she's like, hey, I'm your mom. And he's like, no, you're not. I know who my mom is. Yeah, I'm adopted, but you're not my mom.
What?
I was born at 11 a.m., not 1 p.m. or some shit. And then she's all sad that she doesn't know her kid. And she just got this random ass fucking kid into Harvard. Oh, Dan Levy is also in it. Schitt's Creek guy for 5 seconds. Yeah, and then she falls in love with Paul Rudd. And Paul Rudd also has this adopted child himself who's from Uganda. That he travels the world with, and the kid doesn't want to travel the world. So then Tina Fey convinces Paul Rudd to stay in one place, and they fall in love, and the kid's happy because he's not traveling anymore. And then she puts in an application to find her new kid. It's not great.
What? It sounds like a really serious movie. It doesn't sound like comedic at all.
It is supposed to be funny, I think.
What the hell?
Maybe it's not supposed to be funny.
That was the weirdest thing I ever heard, dude.
I mean, it's Tina Fey and Paul Rudd.
You brought some interesting movies to the table here. I have no idea what you're talking about. But so would you recommend that movie or not?
It's a romantic comedy drama. I give it 2 stars. So take that.
Probably won't check it out then. Just off that synopsis there.
Well, it's blame Mina. That's why I watched it. She likes Nat Wolff's performance. I thought it was decent. I don't know. Nice. Any other recommendations?
That's all I had for this week, man. tell you what, this is a hell of an episode. This has got to be easily in our top 5, I would say. So very, very happy about the outcome. But yeah, man, you got any other recs or anything?
Nope, that's it. Go listen to our other episodes of the podcast. Go check them out. We got a lot of good ones, so stick around.
Just did Moneyball. Yeah, go check that one out.
Got some fun ones coming up, so be ready.
Always. Yeah, really appreciate you guys' support, and stay capping.
Peace.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.